The simplicity of life's pleasures. Work. Eat. Sleep. Bowl. That's right, bowling. Life is always much better when you go bowling. Going in, we think that's something that anyone can deliver. But that outcome is not always true, as you can falter with the slightest quiver. Steady on your approach and aim correctly. A strike may be in your future. At the very least, you can get split done. Either way, you've experienced the joy of going bowling. But be wary of that drop-off that is the gutter. It could leave you between a rock and a hard place. That's the backdrop for today, and sometimes that sixth win can be the most challenging and difficult to get, in so many different emotions swirling around inside Hard Rock Stadium today, especially for the Hurricanes. And for more, let's go downstairs to Olivia Decker.
Yeah, Mark, bowl berth on the line. It's homecoming. It's senior day. A lot of distractions this week for the Canes. And Manny Diaz told us he was worried about the focus coming into today, especially for those seniors on senior day. Linebacker Shaq Quarterman is kind of like the spokesperson for that senior class. And he says being a Cane is precious to him. Look at that emotion as he runs out the tunnel. He's one of those three senior linebackers who have started almost every game together over the last 4 years. Coach Diaz was their defensive coordinator and now, of course, their head coach. He said it's unlike any other relationship he's had in his coaching career. So, Dusty, you know, you've had a senior day, and how difficult is it to keep those emotions in check?
It's emotional, Olivia. It's a great question. And with Shaq Quarterman, all the memories of this field, the great things that he's done, culminating, you see your mom, you see your family, it's emotional. You got to go back into the locker room before the game, check those emotions, get focused on the task at hand so you can remember this game in a quality way and winning the football game.
Real quick, did he cry on senior day?
I don't know if I cried. My mama did, that's for sure.
Hey, Coach Satterfield for Louisville, is he the coach of the year in the ACC?
He's definitely in the conversation. He's done an unbelievable job. Last year, just 2 wins for this program, and they were headed in the wrong direction. He's changed the culture, the trajectory, and man, as they hit the bye week after that win against Virginia, winning 3 of 4, they are fresh and they are ready to make this final stretch run.
Well, it looks like Miami won the toss, deferring to the second half. Louisville will receive the opening kickoff. 14th meeting all time between these two schools. Louisville has won the last 3 in a row. Pardon me, Miami has won the last 3 in a row against these teams. As the Cardinals will get the football first. They have had an important week off. An entire bye week to prepare for the Hurricanes.
Gotten fresh, healthy. Talking with Coach Satterfield during the week. He thought that was important as anything. A fresh football team, both mentally and physically, is a dangerous football team late in the season.
Bubba backs it a kickoff for Miami. Keep in mind, Hassan Hall has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year, but he takes a knee. Zeros on the scoreboard, and you know, sometimes words mean everything. Malik Cunningham slinging it on the post. Caught!
Wow, what a throw by Malik Cunningham on the deep post.
That was several weeks ago against Florida State. He is now Mikhail Cunningham after turning 21, making a decision to change up the program with respect to his first name. More on that in a minute. Hawkins takes the first carry over the left side and picks up about 4 yards. Olivia, what's up with the name?
Right, so Malik is his middle name, and he turned 21 a couple weeks ago and decided he wanted to go by his first name, Mikhail. But look, it was even a surprise to his family. They were in the stands at the Boston College game, and as he runs out onto the field, the PA announcer announces Mikhail Cunningham. Guys, they had to order new shirts with his new name on it. It was a mess.
Hey, some players will do anything to change it up on the scouting report. This is Tutu Atwell, a local player coming home, has some 30 friends and family members watching here at Hard Rock, and a big run. He's their home run hitter, Dusty.
Yeah, he hit a 77-yard touchdown against Virginia on this very play. It's basically a jet sweep, little pop pass right in front. Dynamic athlete that Louisville wants to get in space today, and Miami going to have to do a good job leveraging him. He was able to get the corner, and you saw the speed on display.
Atwell won a state high school championship at Northwestern High School and here in Miami. They run it this time. Javian Hawkins at midfield picks up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Javian Hawkins, their leading rusher, and on pace to go over 1,000 yards for the first time in a while since 2010. He's been Louisville.
He's been fantastic this year, Jonesy. 5 games of over 100 yards. He's done it in 3 of his last 4. He's a small guy, but he's compact, well built, quick, and excellent vision for this stretch zone scheme.
Looking into the eyes of the middle linebacker, Shaq Quarterman, one of those 14 seniors, alongside Michael Pickney, who was the first one to arrive at the ball carrier that time. A gain of 1 on the play. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, Dusty.
Well, this guy sees everything. I mean, 49th consecutive start. The guy is a tackling machine, diagnoses plays as well as anybody, and his head coach, Manny Diaz, said he's playing the best football of his career. I want you to take a look inside right now, though. 15, Gregory Rousseau, right there lined up at the nose. A guy to watch today. 7 sacks in his last 2 football games, leads the ACC with 12 sacks on the season.
On 3rd and 5, incomplete. Intended for Des Fitzpatrick, but Al Blades Jr. knocked it out of his arms. It'll be 4th down coming up for the Cardinals.
Blake Baker brought pressure on that 3rd down. Man-to-man coverage outside. Quality job by Al Blades getting the hand in there and getting the pass breakup.
It'll be punting time, and Blake Baker, defensive coordinator, first year here at Miami.
They've settled in, and they're playing some really good defense the last couple of weeks. Since halftime at Georgia Tech, they've really stepped their game up.
One of the top defenses in the ACC and in the country. Mason King punting to KJ Osborne. Calls for the fair catch at the 8-yard line, where it'll be 1st down and 10 after the 40-yard punt. Well, it's all in the pronunciation. Louisville, 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 Louisville. Dusty, help me out, man.
It's Louisville. Come on.
1st and 10 for Miami from their own 8-yard line. DJ Dallas in the backfield. Takes the handoff and plows his way up the middle for about 5 yards, coming off a strong week last week against Florida State. There's a look at Jaron Williams, completing 67% of his passes on the season. But last week against Florida State, he was tremendous. 2 touchdown passes. That on the heels of a major comeback victory 2 weeks ago in Pittsburgh. And you talk about a guy that started at the bottom after being on top and resurrecting himself. Great comeback story for him this year. Wide open, caught, and a 1st down by Mike Harley. Think about what he's been through the last few weeks.
Yeah, for Jaron Williams to be put in that situation against Pitt and to be able to lead them down on a game-winning touchdown drive. Nice throw to the outside there, locating his target, Mike Harley. Lead them to a victory and then come back, follow that up with his best week of practice and his best game against Florida State. He showed me poise, the ability to put great touch on the ball down the field, which people had questioned, and he followed that up with another great week of practice. Dan Eno's very excited about where Jaron Williams is. They feel he's really matured in the latter part of the season.
Hurricanes going to run it again. DJ Dallas trying to get to the edge and picked up another 5 yards on the play. Well, tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC ESPN's app. Undefeated number 5 Clemson squaring off against North Carolina State in our Saturday night football game presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. And an undefeated goes down today as the Gophers defeat Penn State, Dusty.
Clemson not going to be happy about that number 5 rating. Dabo Sweeney says thank you, College Football Playoff Committee. And congrats to P.J. Fleck in Minnesota. Huge win over Penn State early.
On 2nd and 5 underneath, the pass complete. Just short of the first down. That's Mike Harley, who had a catch last week for 34 yards against Florida State. 3rd down coming up and short.
I got to give it up to you real quickly. You had Minnesota as your 6th spot.
Yeah.
You liked them quite a bit last week, and I didn't give them much of a chance today against Penn State. It's a huge victory for P.J. Fleck and the Gophers, and be interesting to see where that committee has them come next week.
That's what I had it looking like, or at least Minnesota last week at 6, but a big win there, and their point differential against Power 5 conference team the last several games has been very impressive. Williams slings it on the slant, complete. Harley inside the 35, 1st down and 10, and they may tack some more yards on a face mask. A flag on the play as Russ Yeast came in. Boy, Jaron Williams threw that with a lot of authority. They picked up 41, maybe more.
Personal foul, face mask, number 3, defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
This right here is exactly what makes Jaron Williams so good. It's going to be an RPO. As he sees the linebackers come up, middle of field's wide open, he hits Harley on the slant. Excellent precision, decision-making, processing the information very quickly, and tack on 15 more as the face mask grabbed by Yeast on the way out of bounds.
And here's Harley again on the bubble screen. Got a blocker out in front. Dean Wiggins, fellow receiver, leading the way, and another flag down at the end of the play. Could be a horse collar on Marion Character.
Personal foul, face mask, number 12, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Oh, that was an easy one. Had him all up on the grill. Grabbed it.
Probably going to have to get that neck checked out after a couple of rough face masks.
Feels like the Cardinals defense on their heels a little bit here, Dusty.
Well, DJ Dallas, I talked with Brian Brown, the defensive coordinator, before the game on the field. They had to slow down the running game. DJ Dallas established himself some, and it's opened up some things in the throw game.
Dallas between the tackles. Keeps those legs moving. Touchdown, Miami. They didn't have DJ Dallas for the Pittsburgh game because of an injury, but last week against Florida State especially, he showed how important he is to this offense. And a nice run there for the touchdown. Place kicking has been an adventure. This one is good. They lead 7-0. A 92-yard impressive drive for Miami to start.
Well, DJ Dallas, he's got home run capability, but he's also a physical, tough runner. Between the tackles, watch him keep the legs turning. He's not going to stop. He continues to grind his way into the end zone. Manny Diaz likes it. Can Louisville answer? We'll see on the other side.
Veterans Day coming up. A look at some of the brave men and women from around the world sporting their school colors, as this week we honor all of America's heroes who have served and are currently serving in our nation's armed forces. And a shout out to my cousin Janice, who served our country in the military, and cousin Carl back in the day, back in Vietnam.
Thank you to all the veterans out there for serving, allowing us the great freedom we have in this wonderful country. Very much appreciated.
Opening drive for Miami went all of 92 yards, and Louisville is going to get a chance to touch the ball for the second time here this afternoon. This is Hassan Hall, who has a kickoff return for a touchdown already this year, but looked like he was losing his balance for about 10 yards. And as a flag down on the field, a late flag, so we'll wait here. Man, we've seen 3 penalties already.
During the return, personal foul, illegal block below the waist, number 7, return team, half the distance from the spot of the foul, first down.
Kevin Connor, what's good in the studio?
Hey, Mark, the AT&T best performance takes us to Tuscaloosa. Tua playing despite the tender ankle, leading the Tide down the field. But take a look at this. on the scramble. Just kind of has the ball pop right out of his arm. Ray Thornton jumps on it. 1 versus 2. It's a scoreless game in the first quarter. Mark?
Wow, is that just being rusty, not being out there? He just put it on the ground.
Uncharacteristic of Tua Tagovailoa. Typically takes such good care of the football. I'm intrigued to see. We haven't seen Mikael Cunningham get involved with his legs yet, but he's a dynamic runner.
Back to pass under heat. Threw it low and incomplete for Des Fitzpatrick. One of their leading receivers. Good pressure, though, from Michael Pickney. And Scott Patchen as well. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Hurricanes, one of the top defenses in the ACC.
5th in all of college football with 34 sacks. They will heat you up. Aggressive attacking front 7 from Miami.
A lot of window dressing in motion offensively for Louisville.
Ball start on the right tight end.
And another flag down.
Ball start. Number 60. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Right now, Louisville tried to go with their unbalanced set, tackle over. So they've got 3 offensive linemen on the right side of the center and a tight end on the back side. They do this quite a bit. New wrinkle into Scott Satterfield's offense the last couple of seasons.
2nd and 15. Wakefield in motion. They hand it off to Hawkins with nowhere to go. Swarmed. That defensive front impenetrable. They're going to mark it outside the end zone. Trevon Hill was the first one to get there.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
And that's going to go against one of those 14 seniors, Hill.
Trayvon Hill, the Virginia Tech transfer. You can see him here. He gets off the ball a little bit too early. Clearly offsides. Got a little bit of a head start there. He's been a great addition to this defense, though. Excellent get off, quick, quality pass rusher, and really picked his game up here the last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, becoming a part of this program after being puzzled by his sudden misuse at Virginia Tech, finding a home in Miami. Over the middle, complete, ball loose. And they're going to call it incomplete now. It was intended for Atwell, but it was ripped out of his arms, and now another flag being thrown. Take one more look.
Tutu Atwell almost makes an outstanding grab. Full extension to get the ball. Ooh, they may take a look at this.
He took 2 steps.
I'm not sure.
That.
Amari Carter gets his right arm, punches the ball out. This may be review worthy.
There's a flag down on the field as well.
I'm not.
The ruling on the field is a catch, fumble recovery by Louisville. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 75, Louisville. Half the distance from the goal. The down will count. It'll be 3rd down. That is number 75's first unsportsmanlike.
Okay, so they ruled it a catch. You know, saw one official wave of it to say it wasn't.
Because he makes a 2 steps in a football move. That's an outstanding job by Amari Carter getting that ball loose. And then Trayvon Hill looked like he was going to get the recovery, but he jumps over the top of it. Hey, Louisville right now has got to settle down. 4 penalties already in this game. They've had 2 face masks. They've had an illegal block on the kick return, and now a personal foul. Scott Satterfield, obviously a lot going into this game. Though they tried to act as if it wasn't the focus this week for these players, they know what's at stake. They understand a win here gets them to 6. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Miami. Got to cut out some of these penalties that are costing them here early.
Tipping point of their season so far would have to be that win against Wake Forest, that 62-59 victory, their first win against a ranked opponent since 2016. But looking for more. Cunningham gained a yard on the play, pushed out of bounds by Michael Pickney, who has been somewhat ubiquitous here in the early part of the football game, all over the field. Under 8.5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Talked about Pickney being one of those 14 seniors, and Listening to Blake Baker, really enjoys being around this young man, says that Pinckney can work any room that he walks into. He'll put a smile on your face. In the dog days of November, that matters. The pass complete out of the backfield to Marshawn Ford, brought down by Pinckney as we check in with Kevin Connors.
Hey, Mark, we just showed you Tua's fumble on the opening drive, and you know what? LSU just turned it into points. Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase on the money. 7-0 LSU. Alabama riding a 31-game home win streak, longest in SEC history, Mark.
Boy, how impressive has Joe Burrow been this year?
Incredible. I think Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator hire from New Orleans Saints, I think he's going to be in line for the Broyles Award. What he's done with Burrow and that offense has been remarkable.
3rd and 3. Hawkins in the backfield. Cunningham complete to Tutu Atwell. Still on the move. Tutu, the booster kicks in, and he is gone. Touchdown Cardinals. Hello Dade County, I'm back. 80 yards. From the guy that went to high school just down the road at Northwestern High. Saluting his fans that made the trip to see him.
Just a shallow crossing route on 3rd and short, and Miami misidentifies him. They lose him in the middle of the field, and it's a nice job by Mikael Cunningham, waiting, being patient, allowing Atwell to come open, hits him, and then it's speed to the sidelines as Tutu Atwell does the rest. Wow, explosive play by Tutu.
A career-long reception for Atwell, a former member of the Liberty City Warriors, the most proficient, productive youth football program in the country right here in Dade County.
It's a homecoming for Tutu. Again, Miami lose him underneath. Watch this speed as he hits the sidelines. Nice block on the side by Dawkins, and it's heels to the field. Louisville ties this thing up. Let's take a look at how this 80-yard touchdown happened. Okay, this is going to be a mesh route. We're going to have 2 crossers, and it's going to help clean up Tutu Atwell. Here's one crosser, here's Tutu, but here's the key. Michael Pinckney needs to expand in zone coverage, but that vertical route kind of picks him and allows Tutu to catch the ball in open space. Nice block on the sidelines, and it's goodbye to the house for Tutu Atwell. And Jonesy, what do you do after you take it 80 yards to the crib?
Hey, you get on the bike just like he used to ride his bike through the neighborhood in Liberty City, about 20 miles from here. As Miami returns the kick, this is K.J. Osborne, still on his feet out to the 32-yard line. It's funny because Atwell played for the Liberty City Warriors, which is a youth football team, very successful one that's produced a lot of NFL players, founded by none other than rapper Luke Campbell. And it's interesting that the University of Miami elected not to offer him a scholarship, and something that has been a point of motivation, obviously, for Atwell and some other South Florida players returning here this afternoon. So many talented football players down here, and some of the local coaches tried to let the Hurricanes know he could be another Roscoe Parrish, who was one of the best to do it at UM.
Luke Campbell, that's 2 Live Crew.
Yes, sir.
So Tutu was with the 2 Live Crew.
Hey, he was live on that play, Dusty. First down and 10. Let's see what the Canes do in response here. Williams given time, slings it, got a man. How's that for an answer? Wiggins, gone, touchdown. Back at you. 67 yards.
Wow. D. Wiggins has really started to step up and establish himself the last couple of weeks. Had a nice big touchdown a week ago against Florida State. And the size, speed has been on display. Jaron Williams with time to throw the football. And remember earlier in the year when people said he can't throw the ball down the field? No. Takes a hit, puts the ball on the money for a big touchdown.
14-7 lead for the Hurricanes. Was there a mix-up in the secondary?
Oh, this is man coverage. Marlon Character's second start of his career. Remember Top Gun? Where'd he go? Where'd who go? Watch Marlon Character. He didn't know what's going on. Did he go out? Did he go in? I don't know. Either way, it's a touchdown for the Hurricanes. Look at the toughness from Jaron Williams.
Wiggins with the long touchdown catch and run. He had a long one against Florida State last week for a big score. And he has suddenly caught fire here late in the season.
Take a look at this outside. Marlon Character had a great game against Virginia 2 weeks ago. He's just in man-to-man coverage. I don't know what he gets confused about. Just completely loses man. It's as if he thought he had safety help to the inside. No safety was there. And what we had there, Jonesy, back-to-back longest plays of the season for each team.
Wow.
We got fireworks early on here in Miami.
Don't blink, folks. Let's take a look at the all-22 and how it went down.
We got over here, and obviously we're going to have a deep post route. And as you can see, there's no middle-of-the-field safety. There's a blitz on. Marlon Character just gets confused. And you hate to see that because this is a guy that 2 weeks ago against Virginia played really well. Brian Brown thought that he's continued to get better and better and better and giving him opportunities. And he's had a costly face mask on the opening drive, and a little confusion there leads to a long touchdown in the second drive.
Hit or miss sometimes when you try to go bowling. Sometimes it's a strike, sometimes it's a gutter ball. Both of these teams sitting on 5 wins. Next one makes them bowl eligible. Hassan Hall in the backfield, and Cunningham slips and falls at the 19-yard line. Second down coming up. Cunningham and Evan Conley have rotated liberally in the last several games at the quarterbacking spot, so don't be surprised if and when we see Evan Conley right there with headset on right now at some point of the game. He's actually closed a couple games for Louisville this year. Victories, too.
Boston College and Wake Forest had a key long touchdown run to ice the game on the road and give Wake Forest their only loss of the season.
Loss of 5. Cunningham under duress. Sacked back at the 13-yard line. The 2 seniors, Quarterman and Pickney.
Well, Michael Pinkney, man, he has speed, and he's an outstanding blitzer. He's going to close in. Watch him come off the edge here. And just the speed coming around the outside. Nothing that Cunningham can do about it. Pinkney, Quarterman, they've done a lot of times together.
3rd and 21. Flag down. Rousseau on the tackle on Hassan Hall.
Holding, number 74, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the Hurricane defense really have a good sequence here. And into the eyes of Michael Pickney, the team prankster, but he's not joking around on this play.
Kind of reminds me of back in the day, old Mike Singletary.
Good call.
That focus on those eyes. And I'm going to tell you what, these two guys have played so much football together. Everybody knows the story. They come in as true freshmen. And since that opening spring, the opening practice, they've been starting side by side for 4 years. The last time they'll take this field together as seniors.
Mason King with the punt. Line drive. Osborne on the fly. Got an alley down the right side. KJ with one guy to beat. And the punter, Mason King, slows him down, but deep inside Louisville territory at the 13-yard line. A 37-yard punt, but Osborne took it back 38.
Well, it was a low punt. You know what I mean? There was no hang time. So the Louisville punt team doesn't have time to get down the field. It's also very well set up by Miami, allowing Osborne to get to the right. You see 26 there, Gervin Hall, able to get a nice block and open up the sideline for KJ Osborne, who, talk about key additions to this football team. The Buffalo grad transfer, he's been fantastic for this offense this season.
First down and 10. Looks like they tried to set up the screen. DJ Dallas. DJ spin, touchdown!
They love the screen pass to DJ Dallas. Ran it 3 times a week ago against Florida State. Set up well by Jaron Williams, bought plenty of time until DJ was able to come open, and you get DJ down. We've seen the power, but you get him the football out in space. He is a dangerous playmaker for this Hurricane offense.
Guy that lost about 20 pounds from a season ago. He was telling me at practice recently. Lighter, faster, stronger, better, and Manny Diaz happy about it. And what a roller coaster ride it's been at quarterback for Miami. As Jaron Williams started the first 5 games, we saw him against Virginia Tech with the 3 interceptions, replaced by N'Kosi Perry after that. Perry got the opportunity for the next 3 games, won a couple, but then at Pittsburgh, he was yanked with about 7 minutes to go, Dusty.
And Jaron Williams comes in and does an unbelievable job capping that game off with a game-winning touchdown to KJ Osborne. He was great last week. He's had a great start to today. See N'Kosi Perry right there, and you got to give Dan Enos credit. That quarterback room, he says that they have really come together. That, you know, they've been through a lot together this season, as the graphic just illustrated, but all these guys continue to get better, and Jaron Williams really playing at a mature, very high level right now for the Canes.
That quarterback roller coaster ride looked like the Dania Beach Hurricane roller coaster right down the road here off of I-95, but they seem to be off the roller coaster now and settled on Jaron Williams.
They should be. He's their guy. And you know what? He may have a bad game or a bad quarter, but you're going to have to stick with him. That's going to happen, but I'm completely with you. I've thought all season, Jaron Williams, he's the quarterback of this football team.
Hassan Hall with a kickoff return out to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Cunningham and Louisville. Roller coaster. You like roller coaster? You're not a roller coaster guy.
Yeah, I like roller. Come on, what do you mean?
You don't look like the type of dude that can handle the roller coaster.
Me? Throw them hands up, baby. Let's go. I'm not scared. Now, you, on the other hand,
I could do it.
I don't know about this guy.
No, I hold on. I hold on. I hold on. Those old wooden creaky ones, like the one across the street?
Yeah.
I'm holding
from
on.
Texas. They had the Giant, the Texas Giant out there. It was a creaky wooden one.
I'm going to ask Lacey about you.
Okay, hey. I ain't never lied.
1st down and 10. No such roller coaster ride at quarterback for Louisville. But Cunningham having a tough time right now. Brought down by Paxton. 2nd down and long. Loss of 6.
So much of this offense is predicated on the quarterback making the proper read. As you saw there, Scott Patchen up the field, meets the quarterback before he can make the proper read. He's unblocked. Disruptive, nice play by the senior, making a play in the backfield.
Well, Blake Baker has to be happy with his defense so far. This is Hawkins again. They creased it, got the 1st down, and then some over the left side, running behind big Mekhi Becton, number 73 at left tackle. I tell you what, when you look at the size of him and his agility, it's really breathtaking.
Massive man, 6'7".
That's him.
That's him on the ground, 6'7", 360 pounds. I was down there before the game talking with offensive coordinator, Big Becton right here. Talking about him, his athleticism, how well he's played this year. It's a nice key block as he buries Trayvon Hill into the ground. Hope he's okay. He has really improved as a player. Pro scouts oohing and awing over him and his athleticism. I mean, 7-foot wingspan, Jonesy, can dunk a basketball. And
wow.
Has really gotten better at what you just saw there, finishing blocks at the point of attack.
Let's take a look at the replay and see exactly how he was injured on the play.
He gets rolled up on as he...
That right leg.
As he put Trayvon Hill into the turf, Trayvon Hill kind of rolled up on the leg of Mekhi Becton.
Boy, you hate to see it. Part of the game, unfortunately, and hope the young man is able to get back on the field quickly and recover. Well, coming up this week on Sunday NFL Countdown, Randy Moss ranking the best catches from this week's college football action. Plus, before Aaron Donald returns to Pittsburgh, how the NFL's best defender was built in the Steel City. And Peyton and Eli Manning relive the helmet catch. Kick off your Week 10 with Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Becton, a guy that surely you'll see on NFL Countdown at some point in his future.
No question. He's probably going to have a big decision to make after the season. Just a junior. Could definitely come out. Yeah, that's not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. They don't make human beings as big and athletic as him. And as we're going to have coming in 74, Adonis Boone.
On 1st and 10, Tutu Atwell, who went for 80 yards the last time he touched it. This time, got about 2. Robert Knowles making the tackle. Those two guys had a very passionate exchange of words on an earlier play, the first ball that Atwell touched and ran for. Going to be interesting to see that battle develop. Knowles, one of those 14 seniors playing today for the Hurricanes. We had a chance to visit with him on campus for a couple of minutes yesterday.
Nice young man, and coaches praised about how much he's matured and grown from his early days here at Miami. 5th-year senior, seen a lot, been through a lot in his career.
This is Hawkins. Nowhere to go over that left side. He's going to lose about 3 yards on the play. Shaq Quarterman making the stop for the Hurricanes defensively.
Such a downhill football player. So instinctive. Creates so many negative plays. Against Florida State last week, 3.5 tackles for loss. I mean, he diagnosed the play right now. Comes underneath the block. Makes a play behind the line of scrimmage. Shaq Quarterman at his best.
3rd and long. Atwell settles in the backfield. A flag down at the 25-yard line.
Miami called timeout before the play. Timeout, Miami. First timeout of the half.
Olivia, we were here about a month ago, and the energy, the vibes are completely different in this stadium today than they were against Virginia Tech. Are you feeling that on the sidelines down there?
Oh, Dusty, it's night and day, and I do not say that lightly. I gotta believe that some of this is because of this senior class. They are so beloved down here, and when they came out of the tunnel to start the game, the juice in here got dialed up. And then Manny Diaz this week told us there was extra spice at practice, so just like the food down here, it is spicy in this stadium. It is a different atmosphere.
Boy, when your head coach is busting out a wide smile like that early in the ball game, that's a barometer for things going really well. And Dusty, I just want to know, how did you and Olivia like that Cuban coffee that I gassed you up on yesterday?
Off the charts. Was it colada?
Colada.
Oh, yeah. Cafe Colada. Hey, man, it was sweet, and I think it had some high octane in it. Got my
Hurricanes might be on that right now.
Got my heart jumping out of my chest a little bit.
21-7. Atwell in motion. Cunningham going to take off on a predetermined quarterback run. Great spin move out to the 49-yard line. They'll spot it actually back at the 48. A 17-yard gain. And a very poised run by McHale. Don't call me Malik Cunningham.
Well, this is exactly what you said. It's going to be a quarterback counter coming from the backside. Excellent job. A quarterback draw as Rousseau comes inside. Malik Cunningham, McHale Cunningham, whatever he's going by these days. Man with 2 names. Nice play on 3rd down.
And one completion right there to his utility man, Marshawn Ford, picking up another 1st down. You really like Marshawn Ford and what he does for their offense.
Love
right?
watching this guy on tape. He is a Swiss Army knife for this offense. He's a fullback. He's a tight end. He's a wing. He does everything. The former walk-on Louisville native earned a scholarship from this coaching staff in the spring, and he has been fantastic. And he's also a guy that Scott Satterfield talked about. They need to get involved in this offense. Use the aggression of Miami's defense against them and get this tight end some play-action pass game down the field.
Hassan Hall in the backfield takes the handoff. Great cutback. Picks up the 1st down and then some, out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Pushed out by Al Blades, and it's 1st and goal for the Cardinals on that 25-yard sprint.
Well, you mentioned it. It's just going to be a zone to the right. He's going to stick his right foot in the ground. Excellent vision, and this cutback puts his hand in the ground to keep his balance. Outstanding run by Hassan Hall.
Well, that was impressive as he gives Javian Hawkins a breather.
Nice drive here by Louisville. Their nicest established drive of the day so far. Really establishing the ground game against this Miami attack.
Forward in the backfield, the lead blocker for Hall, but nowhere to go. Michael Pickney there to make the tackle.
These guys do such a good job getting off of blocks, sheds the block, makes the play behind the line of scrimmage. Negative plays. This Miami defense is good as just about anybody in the country at playing on the other side of the football.
Well, Michael Pickney is the player most likely to show up wearing camouflage on day game, if you know what I mean. He's a prankster, but serious on the field. And that's going to be the end of the first 15 minutes here on Senior Day for the University of Miami Hurricanes, their final home appearance of the season. And the emotions tangible, palpable, raw, and poignant. Pickney and Quarterman, sounds like a law firm bringing law and order to the field this afternoon. You're watching ESPN College Football, part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. A look at the Magic City, Miami, Florida, dubbed the Magic City for the ability to bounce back after numerous natural disasters and acts of nature, i.e. hurricanes. Just pops right back up right now. Louisville on a roll. That's going to be Cunningham keeping it, but there's a flag down on the far side of the field.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 85, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Boy, Louisville has really hurt themselves today with untimely penalties. Not that there's ever a good time for penalties. 6 of them for a total of 58 yards.
Just a reminder, Mekhi Becton, the outstanding left tackle, one of the better tackles in all of college football. He went down in the first quarter. He's been over in the 10th. I see him just now getting out. Does not look good though. That is an integral part of this offensive line for the Cardinals.
Adonis Boone, number 74, in for him right now. Atwell at the top of your screen, and another flag. More motion against Louisville.
Snap infraction, number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Olivia, what's the deal with Becton?
Yeah, guys, he's being carted off right now. You can see his right shoe is off and his big toe is taped up. And also another injured player on crutches, 44, getting in on the cart as well. That's Jones. He got hurt on a special teams play. So, guys, not good news for the Louisville Cardinals, but Adonis Boone in at left tackle for Becton.
Wow. Buck breaks there out of the backfield. Complete. That's Hassan Hall. Made a nice move. Makes it down to the 5-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up for the Cardinals.
Adonis Boone's been stepping in and playing a little bit more. He's been coming in as a guard and as a tackle, but again, tough to replace a guy as dominant as Mekhi Becton. But that is one thing Scott Satterfield, Dwayne Ledford have been happy about. The depth has improved throughout the course of the season with this offensive line, and they'll need it against this front of Miami.
Louisville has a couple of big receivers, Fitzpatrick and Dawkins. They fake the jet sweep into the end zone, wide open. Touchdown, Fire. Pfeiffer with the catch, and the Cardinals rally back. That's his first touchdown catch of the season. And it's an 8-point game. Chalifou with the extra point. They lost Creaky to an injury a couple of weeks ago. And it's 21-14. 10 plays, 80 yards, about 5.5 minutes on the clock. The Cardinals right back in it. And Dusty will give you the actuals and factuals of the touchdown on the other side of this. All right,
they're going to send Atwell in motion here, and as he comes in motion, it's going to force Bandy to expand. Atwell's in motion. Bandy's going to expand. These backers are so aggressive, you're going to have Pfeiffer sneak right out into the end zone. No one is there. No one accounts for him. 2-2 Atwell. He gets the attention of Trajan Bandy. The linebacker's over-aggressive. Easy pitch and catch for Cunningham to Pfeiffer. Nice play design and a great play call on 3rd and goal.
Cunningham engineering that impressive drive. A.J. Osborne feels it at the 8-yard line. Osborne brought down at the 21. Let's go back to the studio.
Hey, Mark, LSU was dominating this game, up 10-0 on Alabama when the tide turns big time. Jalen Waddle spun backwards, regains his footing, and then watch him put on the afterburners. 77-yard punt return for a touchdown. Made it a 10-7 game, but LSU answers with an 8-play, 75-yard drive. Joe Burrow to Terrace Marshall. Burrow 9 of 9, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. The PAT no good, 16-7 LSU on top.
Wow. What a high-scoring game there. Not as high-scoring as this. Cameron Harris into the secondary, still on his feet, and finally down at the 32-yard line. Trudell Troutman makes the tackle.
Wow, huge hole opens up off the right side of this offensive line. 53, Ja'Kai Clark. Nice job right there. Beautiful blocking. Zion Nelson. Good blocking down the field. The explosive plays for Miami have been on display here early. It's Cameron Harris limping off after the big run.
He had that big game against Georgia Tech, 136 yards on the ground. Gained 46 there. Williams completes it to Osborne for the first down at about the 23-yard line, picking up 11. Well, this week's college football playoff rankings brought to you by Allstate. We're going to look at those in just a minute. Clemson number 5 in the college football playoff rankings. We got to put some respect on those Tigers names.
LSU gaining some respect in Tuscaloosa right now.
Big time. Williams. Oh, hit him with the nice fake. Hesitation down to the 16-yard line. Here's a look at the college football playoff rankings brought to you by Allstate. What jumps off the page at you outside of me picking Minnesota to beat Penn State? Going back to last week.
I'm going to tell you what, that's huge right there. I mean, that obviously jumps off the page. I think also up there at the top, LSU beating up on Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Joe Burrow trying to win a Heisman today.
Wow.
Both those games surprised me.
DJ Dallas trying to get downhill, stopped up just shy of the 15-yard line by Etheridge. Miami Hurricanes looking for their 6th win of the season. They're 3-3 in conference play. The 14th meeting between them and Louisville. They have never lost to the Cardinals here at home in 6 games. 3rd and 4.
Big third down for this Louisville defense. Miami has had their way so far early in the game. Be huge if they could hold them to a field goal attempt, and we know about the woes of the kicking game for Miami.
Williams surveys and takes off. Picks up the first down and slides at the 8-yard line. And Williams lets them know about it. Move the sticks.
This is an excellent job by Jaron Williams. The offensive line gives him protection. The rush gets wide. Running lane opens up for Jaron Williams. Good coverage down the field. Picks up a nice first down as he gets to the turf.
Still hasn't thrown an incompletion today. 7 of 7. Miami scored on its last 2 drives. Into the end zone. Touchdown! Wiggins again! His 2nd of the day. Jaron Williams doing surgery eviscerating that secondary of Louisville.
Well, it's an RPO again, and it's just going to be a simple slant. Ball was actually thrown behind him. How about that concentration to go behind his body, catch the football, bring it in? They're going to take a look to make sure he possessed it all the way through the ground. Looked good to me from here.
An impressive grab again by Wiggins. Here's one more look at it. The former 4-star recruit out of Southridge High School in South Miami. It looked like he had all of it.
Yeah, that's touchdown. Ain't no question. That ball never hits the ground, so I don't see how you can. I mean, it jostles there, but it never hits the ground. That's 100% a touchdown. It shouldn't be a long look here. D. Wiggins has elevated his game to another level. You saw it on tape last week, starting to come into his own, and he is having a monster first half here. The sophomore doing big things on senior day.
Big things and touchdown rings for D. Wiggins. He's got him on. Double-fisted. Got some carrots on his fingers right now. Williams with 3 touchdowns in the last 4 passes. Double-fisted. You know, Miami, folks, is the only city in the United States to be founded by a woman, Julia Tuttle. That's right. She encouraged the Florida East Coast Railroad to expand to the area in 1896. And some future Miami leaders on hand here.
Mark, it's the last time I'm going to do it, I promise. But it's the 3rd time of the season. We've been in Florida a lot this year. How many counties are in the state of Florida? And you can't phone a friend, I'm sorry.
66.
Oh!
67.
There
67.
it is.
67.
There you go.
You know, I spent 3 years in the 3rd grade.
There you go. Best 3 years of your life.
11:04 to go in the first half. A high-scoring first half. On the return, it's Hassan Hall. And chopped down at the 27-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 for the Cardinals. Well, our Week 10 Monday Night Football matchup has the 49ers, the NFL's final unbeaten team, hosting Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. The big NFC West matchup at Levi's Stadium. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN's app. Our coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6.
It's going to be a great game. 49ers, last undefeated team in football. I don't think anybody prognosticated that before.
About that. Hassan Hall, pardon me, Javian Hawkins back in the ball game, picked up about 9 close to that first down.
Dwayne Ledford, the offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, he's got a great saying. He says, I fear not the man with 10,000 kicks, I fear the man that practices one kick 10,000 times. That's Bruce Lee. And what he means by that is this offense that they run, it's a zone stretch offense. It's pretty simple and pretty basic, but they have gotten it down and become outstanding at it. As we see the full layout by Fitzpatrick going just past his outstretched arms. The running game of Louisville this year, under the guidance of Dwayne Ledford, really changing the shape of this offensive line, making this unit much better than what they had anticipated. And then Scott Satterfield calling the plays. They're a great combination together, and it's a fun rushing attack to watch on tape and a very difficult one for defense to prepare for.
3rd and 2. Atwell one-on-one. No sauce on that play. Chopped down by DJ Ivey. And there has been a lot of bumping of the gums down there on the field between Atwell and his opponents today. These are guys that have played against each other a lot going back to youth football.
Well, this is what they want to do. They want to get Tutu Atwell out in space. This is a fantastic open field tackle by number 8, DJ Ivey. Tutu Atwell can make you miss in a phone booth. Out there in that much space to be able to get him on the ground on a 3rd and short situation. Excellent job by the corner.
And remember what Coach Diaz told us a couple of weeks ago before Pitt. He said, our tackling was horrendous. quote unquote. They've done a 180 since then. Mason King with the punt. Bounces at about the 40-yard line, and so the Hurricanes will have pretty good starting field position on this drive after getting the stop. Time out of the field here at Hard Rock Stadium after the 27-yard punt. We'll be going caroling. You know what we mean.
Bowling? Caroling? It's getting crazy here today.
Stick around.
Going back to 2014 at Louisiana Tech, Blake Baker, Manny Diaz, they changed the way they were going to tackle. They implemented the Pete Carroll shoulder tackling techniques that you see on display right here. Showed these exact same videos to their players. They wanted to take the head out of the contact. They've implemented that, and aside from Georgia Tech, this has been an excellent tackling team here at Miami. On Tuesdays, they use right shoulder. On Wednesdays, they use left shoulder. We saw DJ Ivey utilizing some of that technique on a big third down stop.
Williams
receiver
falling incomplete. Here's what it looked like a moment ago as Tutu Atwell could not escape the grasp and the good open field tackle of DJ Ivey. You see the shoulder get across and he chops him down. They've been watching that video.
Taking the practice field to the game field, Mr. Jones.
That was the first incompletion by Jaron Williams a moment ago. A little receiver screen complete to Jeff Thomas, his first touch, as we go back to the studio.
Hey, Mark, Texas and K-State still holding on to Big 12 championship game hopes. Skylar Thompson has been sensational so far. 2 TD strikes. This one to Joaquin Gill. 13 of 17, 218 yards, 14-7. Wildcats on ESPN.
All right, Kevin, back here, 3rd down and 7. Olivia?
Yeah, guys, D. Wiggins is not in the game right now. After his touchdown, he kind of landed funny on his leg, and trainers taped up his ankles. He was running up and down the sideline.
Well, Peyton in for him. Williams fires incomplete. Intended for Michael Irvin Jr. And actually the second and incomplete 4th down. A rare 4th down this afternoon for the University of Miami Hurricanes, who have been scoring proficiently so far.
Jaron Williams has been so dialed in, and a couple of misfires there. Throws behind his intended target, the tight end Michael Irvin, which brings up the point. Brevin Jordan is out. He has not played so far today. He's nursing a foot injury, and Brevin Jordan, one of the more talented players on this team.
Australian punter Lou Headley down to the 14-yard line, where Tutu Atwell makes the fair catch on the 38-yard punt. 1st down and 10 for the Cardinals with 8:34 to go in the first half. Mikhail Cunningham coming in at quarterback. All the action part of Veterans Week.
I am Petty Officer Cortez Jones out of Nayetz, Pensacola. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends and family back home and my favorite team, the Miami Hurricanes. It's all about the U, baby. C-A-N-E-S. Go Canes.
We've got fans all over the globe. Trevon Hill making the tackle on that play on Hawkins. Davian Hawkins, team's leading rusher, coming in. 2nd down coming up, no gain on that play. It's been Mikhail Cunningham, the entire way for Louisville. Hands it off again, and a tackle made by Shaq Quarterman. I want to tell you a little bit more about Shaq Quarterman. I have had the chance to visit with him on several occasions. The starting middle linebacker, number 55 for the Miami Hurricanes. You talk about toughness. I remember his freshman year visiting with him, and he was complaining about a sore shoulder. He ended up, it was later discovered, playing the entire year with a torn AC joint and made freshman All-America. Playing this game means something to him, and being one of the greats ever to do it at the U means something as well. Sacked back at the 8-yard line by Bandy and Trevon Hill.
They dialed up the pressure. Corner blitz, as you mentioned. It was Bandy, Trayvon Hill. Protection broke down. Nowhere for Mikael Cunningham to go with the football. Quick 3 and out there for the Miami defense.
7 minutes to go from his own end zone. Going to be Mason King. KJ Osborne standing right around midfield. They come after it. They got a piece of it. They loaded up, and Al Blades Jr. got a piece. It trickles out to the 28-yard line. Miami doing it on special teams.
All 3 phases today for Miami. The offense has been clicking. The defense gets a 3 and out. And here a block punt with Louisville coming out of their own end zone. And don't forget, Osborne already had a 38-yard punt return earlier in the game. Nice job by Blades getting through, getting a piece of that football. And Miami in prime field position to start this drive.
From the 32. See if they take a shot early here. DJ Dallas on the direct wildcat, takes the snap and hands it off to Jeff Thomas. And Thomas into the boundary, might have gotten a yard on the play. Jeff Thomas missed a couple of games, including the Pittsburgh game. But back on the field, a young man that considered transferring when Mark Richt surprisingly retired at the end of last season. But after speaking with Coach Manny Diaz, Jeff Thomas decided that he was going to return to the University of Miami. And he's been a big playmaker for them. Dallas in the backfield. Williams, almost interception, right into the arms of Boosie Whitlow as we go back to the studio.
Hey, Mark, coming up on the Army National Guard halftime report, much more on Minnesota's thrilling win. They are rowing the boat so far to an undefeated season. Where should they be when the next college football playoff rankings come out? We'll talk about that. Baylor stays undefeated. We'll run through how in overtime. Plus, of course, we'll look in on LSU and Alabama and Tuscaloosa, all coming up when you join me, Coach Jim Mora, and Emmanuel Acho on the Army National Guard halftime report.
All right, Kevin, 3rd down and 9 coming up for the Hurricanes here.
Boosie Whitlow just missed a golden opportunity as he dropped out in zone coverage. Jaron Williams never saw him, threw it right to him, but Whitlow couldn't come down with the interception as Louisville trots out a fresh front to try to get a pass rush here on 3rd down.
D. Wiggins has been a favorite target of Williams, but like he's been shaken up a little bit. Williams back to pass with plenty of time. Now takes off. Gets the 1st down inside the 20-yard line. Jaron Williams taking out his do-it-yourself kit for 12 yards.
Well, they went drop 8. They did not elect to bring pressure, just a 3-man rush, and it's good coverage down the field. Jaron Williams surveys the field, goes through his reads, and then realizes, I just got to try to pick this up on my own. 2nd converted 1st down here in the 1st half by Jaron Williams on the ground.
Really getting a lot of chemistry with his offensive coordinator, Dan Enos, who he says, I love being coached hard, and Coach Enos does coach me hard. He wants me to be a complete quarterback. DJ Dallas puts his hat down and gains about a yard on the play. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, Josie, just a minute ago, check this out. 16-7 game, under 7 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. It's Tua up top. Devontae Smith taking the top off that LSU secondary. 16-13 midway through the 2nd.
Tight game there in the SEC. Big one. 2nd and 8 here from the 17-yard line. Talked about D. Wiggins a moment ago. He is back in the ball game at the bottom of your screen.
2 touchdowns already in this 1st half.
Osborne in motion. They hand it off to DJ Dallas with nowhere to go. He got stone cold right there in the middle of the field. Stopped up by Goldwire. No gain on the play. And it's 3rd down and 8.
Goldwire, then it was C.J. Avery, the linebacker. Big hitter comes downhill for this Cardinals defense. Rain coming down Now, Jonesy, that's just you set your watch to it, as you tell me, right?
Oh, yeah, at about anywhere between 3 and 5 o'clock in South Florida. It's automatic. It'll rain for a while, and then the sun will come back out. Although it's 5 o'clock, I'm not going to guarantee any sunshine for the rest of the day. 3rd and 8. Williams, little backside pressure, got it out. Touchdown, Mallory! Filling in for the injured Brevin Jordan, Will Mallory with a touchdown reception.
Big target, good pass catcher. How about Jaron Williams on the move, rolling to his right, under pressure by the blitzing linebacker, Monty Montgomery, and delivers a dime. What a first half for Jaron Williams.
35 on the board in the first half for the Hurricanes.
Will Mallory, unaccounted for, coming out of the backfield. I love the ability on the move, perfect touch. It's been all Canes in the first half.
Well, this season, Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like these by awarding the Live Moss Student Section of the Year. The Miami Hurricane Student Section already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete or get the committee's attention by using hashtag Live Moss Student Section Contest. Ain't no party like a Dade County Miami party.
Students get after
today,
it,
yeah.
Brought the juice today.
Jaron Williams with a career-high 4 touchdown passes already. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals.
You know, we met with Manny Diaz yesterday. He called this a massive game and that they need to continue the momentum. And one thing that stood out to us, we asked him, you know, how do you respond coming off of such a big win against your rival? And he said, historically, the last 6 years, it's been poor. 2-4 the last 6 years, the week after Florida State. And you could tell he was super hyper-focused about this game, the attentions to detail. He said they utilized that throughout the course of the week of practice. And here in the first half, it's really showing on the field.
Yeah, no hangover from the success last week up in Tallahassee. Cunningham backside heat and tackled back at the 17-yard line, flag down. John Garvin got there to get the sack for Miami. That's going to go against Louisville.
Holding, number 75, offense. Penalties decline. 2nd down.
Remember that offensive line of the Cardinals without Mekhi Becton, injured earlier.
Yeah, as you mentioned, watch Garvin, and that's exactly what he's working on. He's working on Boone. He's going to bend the edge, but really Cunningham's holding on to the football a little bit too long. And Garvin wasn't just going for the sack. He was going for the strip sack fumble. Nice job by Cunningham to hold on to the football. He's got to have that clock in his head and know he cannot hold on the ball with this pass rush that long.
Incomplete.
They may hit Russo.
Late flag.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. High hit, number 15. Defense. 15-yard. Automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, that's going to go against Greg Russo, who had 4 sacks last week against the Seminoles. That's going to give the Cardinals a 1st down.
The man's name we haven't called very much today. Costly penalty, backed up on 2nd and 18.
You know, as we look at Coach Scott Satterfield on the sidelines, 1st-year head coach, got to be in the running for Conference Coach of the Year in the ACC. Big win against a ranked opponent, Wake Forest, several weeks ago. You think about the fact, Dusty, that they lost 21 players from a year ago who didn't quite fit the culture and commitment they were building at Louisville to have the type of success they've had. Last year, just 2-10, already sitting on 5 wins. Cunningham delivers. Atwell with the catch in Miami territory at the 47-yard line. He picks up 21 yards on the play. There's a look at the standings in the ACC.
To your point, it's been a fantastic job this year by Coach Satterfield, his staff, and these players buying in. They have changed the culture. They've turned the corner. And at some point, they're going to get that 6th win. And the turnaround from 2 wins and where they were at the end of the year to where this team is now, it's been great to watch.
Cunningham fires for Atwell, incomplete at the 22. And there's 2:29 to go here in the first half of play. Atwell has a touchdown reception for 80 yards already today. Talked about the fact that Atwell grew up here in the Miami-Dade County area. His grandmother every summer ends up feeding a lot of the local high school and college players who come back to Miami to work out. And after they finish working out, they all gather around and she puts some food on their plates and takes care of them. And Tutu trying to take care of the Cardinals offensively. That pass incomplete for Keon Wakefield, who might have turned an ankle there as the rain comes down. Third and 10.
One name we have not called yet today, Des Fitzpatrick, number 7. He's an outstanding wide receiver. He's got great size, speed. I thought he had really started to take his game to another level. It seemed like him and Cunningham were really getting on the same page. They need to find a way to get this guy involved.
Yeah, he's got zeros across the board. One of their leading receivers with 25 catches coming in. Cunningham going to take off and pushed out of bounds shy of the first down by Amari Carter, who came up from his safety spot to put the hit on him. 4th down, a little over 2 minutes to go.
You go
Dusty?
for it. No,
okay.
It's no decision.
All right.
You're down 21 points, 2 minutes to go in the half. No question. This is the go zone. You need to try to cap off this half with a touchdown. Cut this deficit, build some momentum heading into the half.
We're 7 of 13 on 4th down this year.
I like getting Cunningham on the perimeter.
Well, that's not going to make things easier for the Cardinals.
They changed the decision too.
False start. Number 60. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Tyler Haycraft, the former walk-on, tough guy that I know Coach Ledford loves. His effort and energy, he's not going to be loving that. Shooting themselves in the foot here throughout this first half.
Dusty, 9 penalties for Louisville today. 1:41 to go in the first half.
We've seen a lot on this drive, moving the pocket, getting Cunningham outside with run-pass options and negating some of that pass rush.
A 4-receiver formation. Cunningham down the edge. Caught at the 9-yard line. What a grab by Seth Dawkins. And it's 1st and goal, Louisville. Man, you talk about a dime drop by Cunningham there. He got in behind Al Blades.
Poise in the pocket. They brought pressure, stood right in there, put a lot of air underneath the ball. Dawkins gets behind the coverage. Outstanding grab by the senior wide receiver. Full layout, huge play that this Cardinal offense needed.
36 yards on the play. Hawkins in the backfield. Looking for the throwback the other way. Caught and stopped short of the end zone. Flag down on the play. That was Marshawn Ford working against Quarterman. Make that 10 penalties.
Holding. Number 60. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Boy, Haycraft is having a rough series here.
Series to forget for him. Coach Ledford played for 9 different offensive line coaches in the NFL, a journeyman. Worked his way to NFL Europe when he started to get into coaching, and that's really when they implemented this stretch offense. They thought it was easy, basic, and allowed the offensive line to play fast.
Cunningham the pass into the end zone. He's picked off by DJ Ivey. An incredibly poor decision. And the 3rd interception for DJ Ivey.
Bad throw there by Mikael Cunningham.
And it's time to break out the turnover chain.
Tutu Atwell was trying to run a corner route, and DJ Ivey was just sitting there. And Mikael Cunningham Throws the ball right to him. A simple misfire and an easy interception for DJ Ivey.
And look at the reaction by the offensive coordinator, Coach Ledford, and Coach Satterfield. 72 takeaways in 36 games. You know, since the inception of the turnover chain, no team in FBS has more turnovers than Miami. DJ Dallas with an impressive run. Miami has a couple of timeouts remaining, so maybe they can get moving here. There's a look at the chain that they broke out for DJ Ivey. Olivia?
Quarterback Jaron Williams was complaining of his right shoulder hurting. He was throwing some balls and shaking his head after each pass. He's in some pain.
Well, let's see if he can get it working here. He delivers incomplete near midfield of the 49. That's something that's been bothering Williams going back to the Virginia Tech game that we saw. I want to talk about that turnover chain. Stats kind of back it up that it's kind of a good thing. They may have the turnovers without the chain too, though, right?
I think it's something that guys get excited about, and it's cool for them, and it fits, you know, the Miami culture here. Fans love it.
I'm going to buy you a Cuban link.
But I'm just going to say, I think it's about those players on the field, the calls by an aggressive coordinator more so than the chain.
Great call. DJ Dallas put his hat down and made it out to the 44. I'm going to buy you a nice Cuban link and send you home with it.
Perfect.
Yeah. Real one, not one of those flea market
Just
ones.
make sure it comes with a colada. Cafe colada, too. A little pep in my step. Nice half for the Canes.
Huge. And they're going to let it run out. Jaron Williams has had the half of his career here in the first 30 minutes. Manny Diaz's team on senior day with a 35-14 lead at the break. Well, thousands of Canes on hand last night. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And right here around Lake Osceola, homecoming weekend, for a boat burning ceremony and fireworks last night. Tradition states that if the mast of the boat falls before the boat sinks, UM will win the homecoming football game. And I guess that's what happened because they're leading right now, Dusty.
Well, the two senior linebackers, Michael Pinckney, Shaq Quarterman, making plays as they always do on senior day. And we talked about bowling, and Miami had some strikes, big play strikes down the field. In that first half, 3 plays of 40-plus yards. The big shot down the field to D. Wiggins. And the Miami Hurricanes rolling, coming out of the blocks here in the first half. How will Louisville respond? This is a team that we saw down 21 before in Tallahassee. We saw them come back in that game and take a 24-21 lead. There's a lot of fight and a lot of heart in this Louisville football team, but it's imperative that defensively they can come out and get a stop here to start this second half.
Both these teams sitting on 5 wins. Next win means bowl eligibility. It squibs down to the 10-yard line. A.J. Osborne, nice return out to the 34-yard line. First down and 10 from there, and boy, what a first half it was for Jaron Williams, the starting quarterback of the Miami Hurricanes. And when you look at the splits in this game, you know, there haven't been many because it's mostly been strikes for the Hurricanes. Big play capability in the first quarter, Dusty, and they got into a good rhythm early.
They did. Louisville defensively really struggled so far, stopping the big plays, stopping the run game. They need to find answers. Brian Brown needs his defense to step up, potentially get a takeaway to get them back in this game.
Here's the DJ Dallas first down, and then some Osborne with good blocking down to the 46. Olivia, what's good?
Scott Satterfield told me that their defense has been as bad as they've been all season, allowing Miami to score on all 4 trips to the red zone and all those explosive plays. But on offense, he said they need to establish the run now. They get the ball next. Only 48 yards on the ground in the first half. And quarterback Mikhail Cunningham, guys, went into the locker room holding his hip. And Coach Sat told me that he is a little banged up. They're going to stick with him for now, but they're not afraid to pay Evan Conley if Mikhail is hurt.
Yeah, Conley's been in the games a lot. He closed a couple of big ones in recent weeks. Dallas with nowhere to go is going to be brought down at the 48. Burns, the first one to arrive for the Cardinals defense. A loss of 2. This might be where Cunningham was shaken up. I heard Olivia report that he's dealing with a sore hip. Get back to that in a bit.
Rajay Burns with a nice tackle for loss there on the previous play, back in Miami up a little bit. Brian Brown does a lot of slanting, stunning, trying to create some penetration with an undersized defensive line.
They set up the screen to Harris. Got a couple of blockers out in front. Great cutback and got the first down. Got a good block from Donaldson. Devon Donaldson, the 6'6", 345-pound offensive lineman, responsible for that 12-yard gain.
Range starting to come down now. Dan Enos loves to utilize the running back screen. Well set up once again.
Williams hands it off to Harris. Nowhere to go. Burns makes the tackle for the Cardinals all the way back to the 39. Going to lose about 3. There's a look at some of the cogent numbers from the first 2 frames. A couple of teams trying to go bowling with a win here today.
Great start for Jaron Williams. Seen a little bit of everything from him in that opening half. Was very efficient. Timing was good. Everything seemed to be clicking for Miami offensively, and costly turnover there before the half for Cunningham as he threw that interception in the end zone.
Second down and 12.
We kind of referenced it. Miami red zone, that was a struggle early in the season. They've been fantastic in that department today.
Timeout.
Miami going to burn one of its timeouts here. Cunningham pondering his next appearance when we come back. Cunningham complaining of a sore hip, and this might be the play where it happened, where he took a shot right on the side and got up slowly, and here's another lick that he took.
That was the personal foul on Russo. The other one with Patchen hitting him was very early on in the game. We'll see what Cunningham's got up his sleeve when they get the ball next possession.
2nd and 13. Wiggins in motion, and he takes it on the fly with a hit of steam. And a great afternoon for him with a couple of touchdown catches. Makes it down to the 31 to gain 7 on the play. Wiggins, interestingly enough, played his high school football with Mark Pope, both of them at Southridge High School. Manny Diaz's #1 priority when taking over, as he told us several weeks ago, was getting the quarterback position squared away, because he says when you has great quarterbacks, things just kind of fall into place for the better. Third and 5. Williams complete. Walk on in. Mike Harley. Touchdown.
Well, this is kind of one of the bread and butter plays. RPO, fake the run, get the second level defenders up, and then hit the slant over the middle of the field. This time it's Mike Harley, and poor tackling in the secondary by Louisville. Another Jaron Williams touchdown.
5th of the day.
Backers come up, bite on the play action. Middle of field's open. At safety has got to get the receiver down, give your defense a chance. Poor tackling. Excellent throw. Leads to another Miami touchdown. Not what the defensive coordinator, Brian Brown, needed out of his defense to start this second half. And we've got history partner from Jaron Williams.
And that's saying a lot at the University of Miami, where some of the best ever to do it have played. As Harley throws on the touchdown rings, and it's a 41-14. Tough day for defensive coordinator Brian Brown of the Cardinals. An injured player for the Cardinals on the field.
30 came past safety. It's really become that last play, whether you want to call it, that looked more play action than RPO, but that slant over the middle, it's the same route combination that they hit KJ Osborne with, and Jaron Williams being able to fit that ball into tight windows really help allow him to take his game up a notch and to another level.
Well, Mike Harley, member of the 4x400 relay team at the University of Miami. So many players through the years at the U have crossed over running track. The extra point good by Camden Price. Pre-game, head coach Manny Diaz could feel something prescient, something special was going to happen. He could feel it coming in the air. There was a special vibe here in the stadium. He knew it. Dusty, his team is losing right now, 33-13. I want to draw something else up, right?
Yeah, I think they diagrammed the wrong plays for the LSU game. How about that? Joe Burrow, 18 of 20 in the first half, 3 touchdowns.
And a look at the gorgeous intercoastal waterway here in South Florida. I'm going to get you on some jet skis before we get out of here.
You better hurry. I got a flight tonight, man.
Tell you what, it's been smooth sailing for Miami. 42-14. Just underway here. And we were talking during the break, it would have been huge for Louisville to get a defensive stop on that last possession. Instead, Miami gets into the end zone. This is Hassan Hall, who has a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown this year. This time out to the 30-yard line. First down and 10 for the Cardinals from there. We have yet to see Evan Connolly at quarterback. And as Olivia documented the hip injury of Mikhail Cunningham, it's still Cunningham coming out on 1st and 10 here. In the rain here in South Florida. Connolly, the 6'2" true freshman from Marietta, Georgia. Still with the headset.
Played well when he's come in.
Yeah.
Done a nice job. Probably a better thrower, but not quite the dynamic runner at Cunningham.
Nice run by Hawkins. He creased it and all the way into Miami territory at the 43-yard line where Michael Pickney makes the tackle.
Big hole off the right side of the offensive line. Their stretch scheme. Little crease for Hawkins. You see he put his foot on the accelerator. Guy ran sub 4.4 coming out of high school. Nice run to start this second half of their offense.
26-yard gain on the play. Handed off in a nice gaping hole for Hawkins. Still on his feet, got a block. Just shy of the end zone. Marshawn Ford was leading the way for him. A 43-yard gain, and it's 1st and goal in a blink for the Cardinals.
Well, this is exactly what Scott Satterfield was hoping for. It's going to be a full zone this way, right? And then he's going to get up. 83 is going to lead up. And watch the hole. 55 scoops. We get to the second level. Marshawn Ford leading the way. You see the nice block outside by Des Fitzpatrick. Big physical wide receiver. 2 chunk runs here for the Cardinals offense to start the second half.
From the 1. High snap. Cunningham going to take it off. And he waltzes in for the end zone for the touchdown. That's an answer. Mikhail Cunningham with a 1-yard touchdown run. His 5th rushing touchdown of the season and the 10th of his career.
They had to have that. That is huge. Momentum swing. Can that carry over to the defense? That's the real question here. But this is exactly what Scott Satterfield told Olivia he wanted to see coming out of half. We've got to establish the running team and the running game. And even though they're down 28, they stick to their roots. They stay true to who they are. And they get into the end zone.
I'll tell you what, his hip didn't look like it was giving him any trouble or issues on that run. As the rain continues to come down, we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, in the rain here in Miami. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. In the shadows of Antioch Missionary Baptist Church here in Miami Gardens, Florida, the Louisville Cardinals answering with a very impressive drive 3 plays, 70 yards into the end zone, trying to keep it tight. But the problem is, Dusty, how do they slow down this juggernaut Hurricane offense today?
Well, the biggest problem is it's not just one thing, right? They're getting gashed in the run game. DJ Dallas, big gaping holes. They're overcommitting to try to stop that and setting up easy throws in the pass game.
Osborne on the kick return out to the 27-yard line.
A turnover is what Brian Brown and this defense needs. They've been able to get timely takeaways. They had 2 interceptions in that big win against Virginia before they hit their bye week. If there was ever a time that they could try to create a takeaway, this would be an ideal time for this defense.
And speaking of Brian Brown, he and Coach Satterfield, the rest of the staff, they have a great chemistry amongst them, developed very quickly. Actually, Satterfield brought 6 coaches with him from App State, and that's helped them hit the ground running. Here's DJ Dallas, brought down behind the line of scrimmage on the play. And you know, the relationship extends to the point amongst the coaching staff at Louisville. We talked about it on the field with Coach Satterfield. They have some great lunchtime basketball pickup games between them.
Well, they're a tight-knit group, this entire staff. You know, I was talking with Eric Wood, former All-American, earlier this season, telling me about Coach Sat. He has all the coaches and their families over on Wednesday nights. Okay, in the summertime, he has the coaches over once a week. I mean, they are a tight-knit group, very close, enjoy each other's company. And I'll tell you what, those coaches, even Coach Ledford told us, they love working for Scott Satterfield.
2nd and 12. Williams under duress and sacked all the way back at the 11-yard line by Kennard. Dana Kennard coming up with a huge play for defensive coordinator Brian Brown.
See him working right here. He's going to get up the field. Good coverage down the field. Working on Zion Nelson. Perfect hands. See how he took those hands off of him? Got underneath the offensive tackle and is able to get the quarterback on the ground. Excellent use of the hands right there. As I talk about all the time, that's your tools as a defensive lineman. Those hands, your weapons. Great utilization by Kennard.
On 3rd and Palm Beach to go, they give it to DJ Dallas, who makes it out to the 28-yard line. Go back to that last play. The sack given up by the Hurricanes really illustrates the point that this offensive line has come very far from that first game of the season when they gave up 10 sacks against the Gators.
Much improved. Yeah. Look, and it's been a work in progress all throughout the year. But I think right now the point is that's a gigantic stop for the Louisville Cardinals. I mean, as a defense, it's been a sieve most of the afternoon, and responding off the momentum created by the offense in that quick 3-play scoring drive. They get a quick 3 and out and get their offensive ball back.
Tutu Atwell calls for the fair catch. Juggled it. Ball loose. Hurricanes are going to say they have it. Still no signal. Miami football. And it's the walk-on that came up with it, Jimmy Murphy.
Wow, on senior day,
the crowd favorite.
Captain today, Jimmy Murphy, the scrapper. What a moment. Tutu Atwell down on the ground as he mishandled that punt. Well, how did Jimmy Murphy find a way to get that ball?
He was nowhere close.
Holy cow.
He came running out of the crowd with it, though. And that's why Coach Diaz is so pleased. He is the crowd favorite here. Jimmy Murphy scored a touchdown earlier this season, was so exuberant that he did a backflip on the field, and there it is.
I think Jimmy Murphy had the loudest ovation when he ran out of the tunnel for senior day today, guys. They love him, and he's been nominated for the Burlsworth Trophy. That's awarded to the most outstanding player who started as a walk-on. He's a household name down here.
Said before, he is the people's choice. I talked about the flip that he did after the touchdown. It came on this run, got into the end zone, was so excited Watch this. He just nailed this. That's worth a flag, right, Dusty? Come on. Come on, give it to me.
Yo, he got that one. I think that was a blowout against Bethune-Cookman that they won 63-0. So I think that nobody was upset about that.
Yeah, and a costly turnover, conversely. And a costly play for Tutu Atwell. You hate to see that. He has been a real catalyst and a spark for Louisville. But back to Jimmy Murphy. So he scored a touchdown this year, and I think the chain kind of broke a link. He broke a link.
Somebody got to teach him how to put it on, man.
He's got to learn. He's got to take the helmet off first. KJ Osborne tripped up in the backfield, kept his balance. Olivia, what happened there?
Well, the chain broke, and that's never a good sign. As someone who loves jewelry, you don't want to see that happen. That's not well made if it's my consumerism talking. But yeah, the whole crowd was cracking up, guys. They had it on the Jumbotron. Fun moment.
Well, I know those coaches probably kept the receipt on that chain, so they can always take it back, get an exchange, or get it fixed.
Great moment for Jimmy Murphy. Devastating moment, though, for the Louisville football team.
Yeah.
I mean, just completely took away their momentum, and potentially, we'll see what Tutu Atwell, what his status is, but he looked pretty banged up as he exited the field.
2nd and 15, Williams wisely throws it away.
They finally did a nice job
too at the 40.
Covering the running back screen. 9 C.J. Avery was in the hip pocket of D.J. Dallas. Smart decision by Jaron Williams to get rid of the football as he takes the big hit from G.G. Robinson. It hit him twice so far in this game with that running back screen and been successful that time. Well diagnosed by the Cardinals defense.
Tutu Atwell in the tent right now, being observed and evaluated by the Louisville athletic training staff. From the 28-yard line, it's 3rd and 15. The Cardinals got a stop last time. The defense was on the field.
Been hitting this slant here all day.
And he looks that way again into the end zone. Touchdown, Canes! Harley! Harley with back-to-back touchdown catches. And boy, Jaron Williams looking like Gino Torretta here today with his 6th touchdown pass, a school record.
What a performance today by Jaron Williams. Mike Harley's 2nd touchdown of the day on the deep post. Great protection. And how about the football where only his guy can get it? Wow. It's all about the Canes in Miami.
Mentioned one of the best ever to do it at the University of Miami, Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta. But even he didn't throw 6 touchdown passes in a game like Jaron Williams did a moment ago. Got to his 6th.
And he's just playing with a different level of confidence than what we saw. I mean, obviously against Virginia Tech, the shoulder was bothering him. He had the interceptions, but I think what he was able to do coming in that Pittsburgh game, leading them to a victory, just elevated his mentality just to a completely different level. And I love what Dan Enos had to say to us about the conversation they had prior to that Pitt game. You know, he really challenged him to write down the goals of his life and look at them every single day. And he said, you know what? My mom told me to do the same thing. And he said, if you aren't doing things each and every day to work toward those goals, edit them out of your life. I think that's a wise piece of advice from the offensive coordinator and quarterback guru, Dan Enos.
It's interesting that Williams, going back to several months ago, began that editing process and shutting down his social media. Hasn't done so in about 5 months. Cunningham, and a big-time hit by Michael Pickney. Had a little bit of company and help from his friends, too. on Marshawn Ford. Textbook tackle right there. Big improvement from several weeks ago, Dusty.
Well, this is well done by the defensive lineman, penetrating, and then Michael Pinckney. I mean, just another tackle for loss for one of the two senior inside linebackers. Have been all over the field here today. Michael Pinckney in his final game in this stadium having a big one.
Cunningham completes this one. Good to see Tutu Atwell back on the field for Louisville.
Great sound.
Picked up about 5. Well, coming up at 7:30 Eastern, Week 11 of the college football season rolls on with number 15 Notre Dame and Duke in our ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. And here in the ACC, it's Miami leading Louisville. Cardinals facing an uphill climb. Third and 7. Cunningham slips and falls on the wet turf at the 23. So 4th down coming up.
Bad footing. You know, Cunningham felt that he had some running room out in front. I'm going to tell you what, he took a shot from Nesta Jade Silvera after he was on the ground.
Yes, Silvera landed on him.
Little surprised that we didn't see a flag come out, to be completely honest. You would talk about protecting a quarterback. That's, they missed that there. You got to protect a quarterback when he goes down like that. I mean, that's a, Nesta Jade Silvera is a big man, up over 300 pounds. He's a talented young man too, but definitely got to hold up in situations like that and stay off the quarterback on the field.
Cunningham still on the ground. Remember, we haven't seen Evan Connolly today. Connolly has played in most of their games so far this year. 5:38 to go in the third quarter. It's been Cunningham from the opening snap. Let's check in with the studio and Kevin Connor.
Hey, Mark, K-State has that win over Oklahoma from 2 weeks ago. Texas is shutting them down right now, though. Just 43 rushing yards for the Cats. Keontae Ingram's second touchdown run of the day has put Texas on top 24-14 on ESPN.
All right, Kevin back here. Cunningham able to walk off the field under his own power.
Number 3 is number 80 for Miami. Number 3 is changed to number 80 for Miami.
Looked like design quarterback run, and Silvera comes in, flying in on top well after Cunningham was down. Cunningham limps off the field.
KJ Osborne back at his own 40-yard line. The Canes are going to have good field position after this. The punt from Mason King at his own 10. They partially blocked one earlier today. Osborne with a chance to return it from the 35. And nowhere to go, bottled up, brought down at the 33. He'll lose 2 yards on the return on the 42-yard punt. Well, tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC and the ESPN app, undefeated number 5 Clemson squaring off against North Carolina State in our Saturday night football game presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
I wouldn't want to be NC State tonight. I got a feeling.
Okay.
Something tells me Dabo Swinney got his players' engines revved after not seeing themselves in the top 4 of the initial college football playoff rankings. They'll be highly motivated and looking to put on a show tonight.
The reigning champs. Pass incomplete, intended for Osborne, broken up nicely by Dorian Etheridge. Well, Anthony Johnson was the one. Look at the college football playoff rankings by conference. Big Ten leading the way with 6 teams. What about the American? We've talked about them a lot this year. They've
quality league, man.
Strong season.
SMU got another win today. Memphis has been very impressive. The only other ACC school, Wake Forest, who I believe right now is down to Virginia Tech. So aside from Clemson, it's a league that lacking some of that star power.
Jaron Williams scrambling and slides in. Boy, he slid about 5 yards. They're going to mark it back at the 45, but enough for the first down. Under 5 minutes ago, he picked up 12. Jaron Williams told me a little bit earlier that it all came down to last spring. He was sitting around the coffee table at home with mom and dad, pondering his future after a rough year previously at UM. And he decided, he told his mom and dad, looked him in the eye, said, it's all on me. I've got to choreograph and resurrect things myself and get it going in the right direction. Came back to campus and beat out Perry and Tate Martell for the #1 job. Hands it off to Harris. And Cameron Harris down to the 31-yard line. There's a look at mom, Chatelle Williams. She'll be happy about what she's seen today. Native of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Her son doing a great job. And you know, he's coached by Quincy Avery back in Lawrenceville, who also coaches Deshaun Watson. Trevor Lawrence is also from there.
Wow.
Some named quarterbacks.
A little bit.
25-yard gain by Harris. Tripped up going through the hole and settles at the 26 on 2nd down. Picked up 3. DJ Dallas coming back into the ball game. You know, it's rare that, you know, he told me he shut down his Twitter account. How many student athletes aren't on Twitter? That's pretty rare.
No, it is very rare, but it's probably something that very smart. Sometimes completely blocking that out and staying focused on the task at hand is the best choice.
Quarterback draw. He's down at the 24. 3rd down coming up for the Hurricanes. And a flag throw at the 32.
John, back and forth between 18 Ty Tyler, 51 DJ Scaife. I think they may get Ty Tyler with a little shove to the face well after the play.
18. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 18, defense. Off the distance to the goal, automatic first down. That is number 18's first unsportsmanlike.
Well, a little lack of control.
It's our 2nd time here this year for a Miami game. So I'm going to ask you, I asked you one question earlier and you got it right the 2nd time. So one more time just for fun, Mark. What does Miami's colors of green, white, and orange stand for?
Oh, man.
Come on, man. You can do this.
Green, what? The green, white, and orange.
Just after the play. Think about it.
Okay. 3 minutes to go. KJ Osborne in motion. And that's going to be Cameron Harris. Green is for the leaves, the nature. There's got to be one for the sun, the orange for the sunshine. Or oranges. Hey, man, green for the money.
Just think about
and
it.
Gold for the honey.
The
okay?
the colors represent Florida's orange tree. Green for the leaves, white for the blossoms, orange for the fruit.
Orange.
There you go.
I got the orange right.
Maybe. Kind of. If you want to give it to yourself.
DJ Dallas flanked out and taking a direct snap. Hands it off to Cameron Harris. And nowhere to go up the middle. No surge between the tackles. 3rd down coming up and under 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Cunningham looked pretty good on that touchdown run a moment ago, but this Miami offense holding onto the football for quite some time on this drive.
Took that shot from Silvera on the last possession. To be helped off the field. I'll be intrigued to see who's going to trot back out there for Louisville. I'm guessing you might get a chance to see Evan Conley for the first time today.
3rd down and 6. Dallas in motion, empty formation. Williams. And not enough bursts brought down by Etheridge. And 4th down coming up. We've chronicled all the issues they've had kicking field goals with Bubba Baxa and with Turner Davidson and Camden Price being the guy right now. And Price trots out.
Nice
3 of 4 on the season.
Nice open field tackle there by Dorian Etheridge. I thought Jaron Williams had a window to run with it, potentially get into the end zone, but Linebacker able to make a nice play out in open space, force the field goal attempt.
From 24 yards out, Camden Price 3 of 4 on the year. Fits it inside the left upright. But the guy that is really authoring a great turnaround story here in Miami is Jaron Williams. 6 touchdown passes today. D. Wiggins on the end of several of them. And DJ Dallas telling everybody it's the request hour. Mallory found himself on the end of one. Mike Harley had a couple as well. Impressive numbers. This in wake of last week's career high, going over 300 yards passing against Florida State. And I guess the verdict is already in, Dusty. They didn't get high on their own vapors from that victory last week. They came out and from the opening quarter have been locked in.
They have, and you know, Manny Diaz told us this Louisville team is a good football team and they have our attention. We're not overlooking this team, and as we said earlier, they wanted to build off of the momentum they had created, and a great week of practice has led to probably with their best and most explosive game offensively of the season. Been very impressive by Jaron Williams, as N'Kosi Perry sitting over there talking to his quarterback.
Tate Martell there as well, number 18. Hassan Hall back for the kickoff from the 4. Hall tackled at the 31, where it'll be first down and 10, and we have a new quarterback coming into the game for Louisville. It is Evan Conley. He's thrown for 473 yards this year. 4 touchdown passes against a couple of interceptions. Olivia?
Well, Tutu Atwell is also not planning on going in on this series. He's been surrounded by athletic trainers. In fact, he was in the tent at the same time as quarterback Mikael Cunningham, who is obviously not going out right now. He's been wincing. He's been in pain. He tried to throw and warm up, but they decided to go with Conley. Guys, important to know, they told us nothing changes with Conley in the game. Same system.
Olivia, never a good sign when Atwell and Cunningham are both in the tent at the same time. Conley had his first pass batted down near the line of scrimmage by Gregory Rousseau.
His long go-go gadget arms. I mean, we haven't seen him much as a pass rusher today, but Gregory Rousseau got that great length. Tried to do a little quick game swing pass.
6'6", Dusty.
Shutting down his pass rush, and watch him get this long arm up. Kind of like Dikembe Mutombo swatting a shot in basketball.
2nd and 10. Cut back, but nowhere to go by Javian Hawkins. Boy, this Miami front has been impenetrable at times. Impervious, led by Pickney and Quarterman. Playing their last home game, albeit so early in the season. 14 seniors trying to emblazon something indelible as their coach extremely enthusiastic, leading 52-21, as they say in Miami. Damilos will be back. You're watching ESPN College Football, part of Veterans Week on ESPN, brought to you by USAA. Look at the city of Miami aglow at night. Look at some pretty impressive numbers there. Louisville has done some big things this year against Power 5 teams.
Yeah, with a winning record, only unranked team on that list. Very impressive from Scott Satterfield's team. Set the screen up outside.
At the 30-yard line, this is Hawkins still on the loose and finally run out of bounds at about the 35-yard line by Amari Carter. A big chunk play by the Cardinals.
You know, Olivia made the comment earlier that nothing changes with Evan Conley in the game. Wow, that snap, he wasn't even ready for it. Nice recovery by him. The big offensive lineman get out in front to center. Cole Bentley, 66, with a key block, and you see Hawkins' speed in the open field. The system doesn't change, but the skill sets are different. I do think Evan Conley is a better passer, I think Malik Cunningham is a much more skilled runner. So
this time he hands it off to Javian Hawkins. We check in with the studio.
Hey, Mark, 33-13 game, late third quarter. LSU dominating Alabama, but hang on. Tua to Najee Harris, and check out this catch. Tua 14 of 26, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 13-point game. Mark?
There's still plenty of football to go. Plenty of football to go here, but the margin much bigger and the climb much higher for the Cardinals. Cunningham watching as Evan Conley takes over here for the second time. In his second series, another low snap. Conley took a hit as he released it. The pass incomplete. And that hit a little bit too zealous.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 71. Defense. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Scott Patchett not very happy with this call.
And Coach Diaz was hot too. Oh, wow.
I don't know what to call him. I don't. Looked to me like he held up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I can understand why Coach Diaz was upset with that call.
Yeah, I can understand why the player's upset as well. I mean, is that a makeup call earlier when they missed the one on Silvera? I mean, honestly.
Might have been. Might have been.
It's a bad flag.
Wow.
Talk about protecting the quarterback.
Another flag thrown as Hawkins picks up about 2 on the play.
Personal foul. Shot block. Number 55 and number 74. Offense. 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Dusty, you played defensive line. You hate to see that.
I do, and you know, they've done a much better job. Officials done a much better job of identifying this and calling it. If a defensive lineman is engaged with an offensive lineman in any way, and then somebody comes in, a second person comes in and hits them below the knees, that's going to be a chop block, and it should be, because as a defender, you can't protect yourself, right? When you're engaged with an offensive lineman, you cannot protect yourself. So I do think that that is something that they have, again, as I mentioned, continued to do a better job of seeing in real time and trying to get it out of the game.
Great call. 1st and 25. Conley throws it downfield and picked off at the 10-yard line by Al Blades Jr. The pressure was in the face of Conley in the form of Rousseau. And they bust out the turnover chain and the Cuban link again.
Well, we haven't talked about his name very much today, but coming on strong here late. Off the left of your screen, you see the power with the bull rush. Hits Conley. Can't get everything into the ball. And they're breaking out the chain again here in Miami.
Welcome back to Miami, where this is the real deal. It's not fake. That is the 305 turnover chain. It's the 3rd edition of these very storied, very documented turnover chains. And you know, guys, 2,000 white sapphire stones. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Olivia, and it's real. I mean, shame on anybody that thinks that it's fake. That one right there is from the 186th Street Flea Market. Now, I've been there and seen the not-so-real stuff. But that one right there, I tell you, that's a lot of carrots around Blades' neck right now. He got a condo around his neck.
It's an impressive chain, but I'm more impressed with the fact that that's their 8th turnover, their 8th takeaway in the last 3 games. That's one area, as it looks as if they're going to make it 3 straight wins here, that they have really dialed it up. We've talked about the offense a lot, but defensively, 8 takeaways in the last 3 games has been huge.
Dallas on the run. Kevin Connor, I would never sell you a fake chain.
Yes, I appreciate that, Josie. Hey, Iowa led Wisconsin 3-zip after 1, but since then it's been all Badgers. Jack Cohn to Quintez Cephas. Badgers on their way to snapping a 2-game skid. By the way, Hawkeyes host Minnesota next week, Mark.
That is always traditionally a big game, Kevin Connors. The Floyd of Rosedale trophy, I think, on the line in that one. One of those trophy games.
Big Ten knowledge.
2nd and 7. Williams got rid of it, up for grabs, and almost intercepted. He had a whole bunch of Louisville Cardinal in his face. That was Troutman coming in hot. on a safety blitz. And it'll be 3rd down and long for the Hurricanes.
Jaron Williams took a shot as he delivered that football. Good to see him hop up, shaking his hand off.
He has been outstanding here this afternoon.
Raining on and off pretty much all day. Slows down, speeds up. Sloppy field out there for these players.
Whistle and get a flag down.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, tonight at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on the ABC and the ESPN app, undefeated number 5 Clemson squares off against North Carolina State in our Saturday night football game presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. I tell you, everyone lamenting the rain. If you live down in Miami, it's great for your water bill because that fills up Lake Okeechobee for a whole long time. Under 12 minutes to go, DJ Dallas with a spirited run of about 7 yards. And Miami in control here. You know, DJ Dallas mentioned the fact that he lost a lot of weight, made him more productive this year. He told me that for a full 5 weeks, Dusty, he ate nothing but fish and vegetables. And that's how he did it. Lost about 25 pounds.
It looks great.
And venison, too. Venison.
I mean, that sounds like a good meal to me. I can definitely deal with some fish and some veggies. But you know what? He looks better, a step quicker, and he still has that power. So, Jay Dallas, talented player. I know they've been glad to have him back here these last couple of weeks.
Yeah. And look who downs the ball. The walk-on, Jimmy Murphy, on the 54-yard punt. (52-21) with 10:58 to go, and a look at Fate Bridge here in South Florida. Sunny days right now for the Hurricanes and their followers. Back after this. (52-21). And some of the sights and sounds from Miami, Florida. Hurricanes on defense right now with a commanding lead. Hassan Hall in the backfield beside quarterback Evan Conley. And Miami, remember, still with a chance at the Coastal Division title. Hall brought down as we check in with the studio.
Hey, Mark, it's been a tremendous season for Wake Forest. 7-1 coming into this game, but they've run into a buzzsaw today in Virginia Tech. Hendon Hooker, the touchdown run, 36-17. Hokies on top on the ACC network.
And we saw Virginia Tech, Kevin, here against Miami several weeks ago in a game that came down to the final couple of possessions. Conley looking to throw it. And now it takes off, stepping out of bounds at the 16, and a late flag. Going to go against Patchen.
Second one on Patchen in the last 2 drives. The first one he did not deserve.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 71, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Yeah, okay, he earned that one. That was foolish. First one, I'm going to say I don't think he deserved, but that one, yeah, he earned that flag. Got to be smarter than that.
He's one of the 14 seniors playing their final game here at home.
Well, they're going to put in and see if he can't get a medical 6th year. Which will be back next year at the Hurricanes.
Well, nowhere to go that time for Hassan Hall as John Garvin makes the tackle. Allude to the fact that Miami still with a shot at the Coastal Division title.
Well, okay, they're going to win that one. But this Coastal, it is crazy, okay? Because as you mentioned, Miami's still in it. North Carolina's still in it. We've talked about Virginia Tech. They're going to move to 3-2, okay? And they've got games remaining against Pitt and Virginia. So Virginia Tech, when in this stadium, is kind of where their season completely changed trajectories. They hold the keys to the rest of the Coastal Division potentially if they can win out. But then you've also got Miami with wins over Pittsburgh, wins over Virginia. So it's going to be a wild race to the finish down the stretch to see who wins that Coastal Division.
Wakefield on the reception. His forward progress going to be marked up at about the 38, gain of 11 yards on the play. And as Miami looks back on that Georgia Tech loss here at home, that one is the one that they really would love to have back. There's a look at Florida International coming up on the 23rd after the bye week next week for Miami. Then they cap it off at Duke. And look at that, a flag thrown.
Legal substitution. Offense. More than 11 players into formation. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Going to go against Louisville, their 13th penalty of the afternoon. Remember, the day began with hugs, family, flowers, emotions on Senior Day. 14 of them playing their final home game. KJ Osborne, one of the 14. And the people's choice, Mr. Murphy, called Mr. today. Diminutive but dynamic.
13 penalties, 116 yards, and 3 turnovers. Self-inflicted wounds today by the Louisville Cardinals.
Connolly keeps it on the option and kept those legs moving. And close to the first down. They're going to mark it a little bit short to Corey Couch making the tackle for the Hurricanes. A 6-yard gain. And a day to remember for Murphy. Not only did he get that turnover on the punt fumble, but he has the ignominious distinction of the guy to break the turnover chain. Okay, just the link came off. He didn't bust it. 4th and 1, right through the hole. Hassan Hall, and off to the races. Hassan, bye-bye, touchdown.
That's that straight line speed that Hassan Hall possesses. North and south runner, one cut and go. Splits the safeties on his way to the end zone. Wow, excellent speed right up the middle. Good blocking at the point of attack. And he just splits through. Safeties were too far outside. No one's going to stop Hassan Hall.
Well, what a great run. They miss the extra point. Things went a little sideways there, and Louisville stuck on 27. But that was a career-long run by Hassan Hall. Saying, see ya, and I wouldn't want to be ya back after this. Downtown Miami. From the 6, KJ Osborne. He's going to be stopped up at about the 18-yard line. With 7:35 to go. Miami in control.
Mark Jones. The Miami area is the United States' warmest location in the winter, with temperatures averaging between 65 and 75 degrees.
Okay, I'm waiting for the big finish here.
Well, there's not a big finish. I'm just wondering if that's what, a guy from Canada.
Yeah, because you've been stumping me and stinging me with all kinds of questions.
I'm trying to take it easy on
Unfair
you, man.
questions,
I know. I've got to the point where I feel bad for you, so I just want to give you drops of knowledge.
Thank you.
It has been nice and warm.
Yes.
Down here in Miami last couple days.
Yeah. And N'Kosi Perry in N'Kosi Perry in the ball game. Started a couple of contests ago. Started the Georgia Tech and the Virginia game, and hands it off here on first down to Cameron Harris. Yeah, 65, 75 degrees. Wintertime it works. It works down there. That's a nice winter, quote-unquote, temperature, Dustin.
No question. Yeah, N'Kosi Perry, last game we did of Miami's, we were at Pitt in a big game, and he started that game and played most of it until late into the fourth quarter when they made the switch to Jaron Williams, and Williams hasn't looked back since.
Guys, also Jaron Williams gave Nkosi a hug as they decided to make the change. And I was thinking about what Dan Enos told us yesterday, that quarterback room has gotten really close. They all three, including Tate Martell, have gone through a lot this season, and they've all bonded over it. I know they spent a lot of time with Coach Enos, too. He's definitely one of the guys.
It's great when you have that kind of synergy amongst guys that are competing at the same spot. And they seem to have settled and found their guy right now in Jaron Williams. Harris on that last run. 3rd down and 9 coming up. And Nkosi Perry out of Ocala, Florida. One of the great little cities in Central Florida near Lake Okeechobee. 3rd down and 9. Osborne split to the bottom of your screen. Canes offense able to do all this today without Brevin Jordan, their top receiver, as Osborne is corralled and pushed out of bounds a yard behind the line of scrimmage by Anthony Johnson.
Good open field tackle there, using the sidelines, the extra defender by Anthony Johnson, getting KJ Osborne out and forcing a punt. And obviously this game not going the way Scott Satterfield and Louisville had envisioned coming off a bye, and we've talked about it from the onset. 2 first-year head coaches, each of these teams and coaches with a win punched their ticket to become bowl eligible. I think as we take a look at the Louisville schedule here momentarily, there's some very winnable games on the rest of Louisville's schedule, and I expect
that would be huge.
They're going to get to those key 6 and even 7 potentially wins with what's left on the schedule.
That guy did one of the great reorgs and rebuilding jobs in college football. They were 2-10 a season ago. There's a look at the big picture for the Louisville Cardinals this year, and they will, in years to come, look at that Wake Forest win against a ranked opponent, 62-59, as one of the big tipping and turning points for their program. That was their first win against a ranked program since 2016.
I think they win at least 2 out of 3, if not all 3 games down the stretch. I mean, I really do. I like their chances.
You think they're going to a bowl game then?
100% I think they're going to a bowl game. Absolutely. 100%. And I think that the foundation that Scott Satterfield has laid this season and the changing of the culture so quickly, I think it's going to pay huge dividends in the very near future. Yeah, I think they're going bowling this year, and I think the longer he's there and able to get more and more of his guys in there, I just think that that's a program that's headed in the right direction.
Conley, incomplete. No flag on the play. Broken up by Al Blades. A couple of first-year head coaches going head-to-head. Scott Satterfield and Manny Diaz, his counterpart. On the other side of the field, a native of Miami. Went to Miami Country Day High School. His father, the former mayor of the city of Miami. Former defensive coordinator at the U. Stops at Texas, Mississippi State. Prior to that, North Carolina State, Florida State. We've done some really impressive apprenticeships with some great coaches. Both coaches trying to put on their bowling shoes and get into the lanes as that pass goes complete in the middle of the field. A pickup of 20 yards to Justin Marshall. With a little over 5 minutes to go. DJ Ivey making the tackle.
Nice job by Evan Conley working up in the pocket, making that throw on the move, and an excellent adjustment by the wide receiver. Ball thrown a little bit behind him, but able to bring it in.
On Miami's side of midfield at the 48. High snap. Conley hands it off to Davian Hawkins, and he's bottled up at about the 48-yard line. You know, we showed the graphic a moment ago regarding Louisville's upcoming schedule and what was in the rearview mirror for them. Ominous on that schedule was Florida State and their issues. They need a new head coach. Willie Taggart recently dismissed. Your thoughts on the job, Dusty, and who might be available?
I think it's a really good job. I think it's probably a top 15 job in college football.
Really?
They got to get this hire right. And I went with the 5 M's. I don't know if any of these coaches would want to leave their spot. I'm sure Mike Norvell would leave Memphis and go there, but I went with the 5 M's. Mark Stoops, who's been at Florida State, done a great job at Kentucky.
Pass complete. Who else do you like?
I think you also got to look at the 2 Matts in the Big 12. Matt Rule, what he's done at Baylor, went to 9-0 today with a triple overtime win against TCU. What Matt Campbell's done at Iowa State has been fantastic. Mike Leach is my wild card. I just always think if you put him in a marquee program, what he's done in Lubbock and in Pullman, you can only imagine what he could do in Tallahassee or a place like that. And then finally, a guy that we saw earlier this year who I think is going to be primed for a big-time job in Mike Norvell at Memphis.
Right.
I think if you're the Florida State administration, those are some guys that I would at least be targeting. I would at least be trying to bring in an interview and see if they have any interest in the position.
Of course, all those coaches are employed currently at their respective schools. The play blown dead, and you know, you never know.
Prior to
Let's
the
get the
snap,
call first.
Louisville timeout. That is their first timeout of the second half. 30-second timeout.
3rd down and 6 after the Louisville timeout. You talked about the prospects of
3 minutes,
who
12.
may or may not take the job, and you do say, and I agree with you, that Florida State job is a very good job. If the Florida State administration can make some phone calls and raise $16 to $17 million to buy out Willie Taggart, then I'm guessing that the economics of the situation would dictate that they can come up with a very lucrative deal to lure some of the coaches you had on your graphic there to come to Florida State.
I would imagine, and when you look, obviously Bobby Bowden was an amazing coach, like one of the all-time greats. I think it was 14 straight years in the top 5. But then Jimbo Fisher comes in. They just won a national championship in 2014. This ain't 20 years ago. So I'm not saying it's the best job in college football, but I think it's a heck of a job. And I think it would be one that would garner quite a bit of interest. And as you mentioned, I'm sure it would be a lucrative endeavor if and whoever that coach that they want to bring in is. I know this much. They got to get it right. You can't miss twice at a place like Florida State.
Conley brought down right around the line of scrimmage. Ultimately, money sometimes talks louder than anything when it comes to hiring coaches. I went shopping yesterday, and talk is still cheap.
Hey, I want to go back to, speaking of buying things, back to that chain.
Right.
The one that you claim is real.
Right.
If it's real, how'd it break?
A bad clasp. It was just a clasp. It didn't quite break. But it didn't attach properly.
All right, guys.
Jimmy Murphy needs a little help learning how to attach that thing.
I'm just messing. Just saying, you know. I guess even real necklaces, real gold necklaces, they break.
Well, they could use that turnover chain to do some neck exercises. Work on the traps. 4th and 6, Connolly wide open for the first down. To Wakefield, still on his feet and pushed out of bounds shy of the 20-yard line with 2:20 to go. So Miami looking at their 5th win of the season against 4 losses, barring a miraculous turnaround here.
Keon Wakefield on the shallow underneath crosser. Nobody accounts for him. Evan Conley finds him, and a lot of open space along the sidelines for a big pickup and a 4th down conversion.
From the 22. Finally off his back foot. Incomplete. So, Dusty, let me go back to something. We began the day. We saw the video, the 14 seniors, flowers, mom, dad, uncles, aunties, homecoming week. Let me start with senior day. What do you remember most about your senior day, how you played and what you were feeling?
We won.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that most because at the end of the day, that's how you did in the game. I had a good game. I think the fact that we won as a team, you always want the last time you take your alma mater's field to go out with a win. That means a lot. You're always going to remember those moments.
Miami's going to have that feel for their 14 after this one. The pass complete to Dez Fitzpatrick. What do you remember some of the fans saying to you afterwards?
I mean, just,
good vibes?
Yeah, giving you the love. And that's great. You love the fans doing that. But I remember, I'll never forget, hugging my mama before the game.
Wow.
as we saw some of these young men. I mean, as a lot of these guys probably are. I'm from nowhere. I'm from Lake Dallas, Texas, a place that nobody had ever gotten Division I scholarship. And, you know, that was kind of a culminating point for me that, you know, what I had done, when you think about it in that moment and you embrace your parents, you kind of realize, wow, this has been a special ride. And it's been a special ride for a lot of these guys that have been on display here today.
Tackle made on the play. Shaq Quarterman taking the field at home here for the last time, and he got a special text message from Manny Diaz, his head coach. Quarterman, the quarterback of that defense, and I'm going to paraphrase here. Manny Diaz told him, "It's been special watching you come to Miami, taking a leap of faith when you weren't sure which direction this program was heading in. And you blindly trusted us all." The pass incomplete. "You blindly trusted us all, and it's been a pleasure, Shaq. A pleasure, Shaq, being your defensive coordinator, being your head coach, and I'm happy to call you a friend as you will move on to the next level." Part of what makes college football such a great sport.
He's a stud. I'm just going to say it. And I've enjoyed getting a chance to watch him his 4 years in college. I've had some Miami games the last couple of seasons to study his tape. He plays football the way it's supposed to be played. He leads the way you're supposed to lead. And 49 consecutive starts at middle linebacker in big-time college football. Wow. I can't wait to watch what the next level has in store for Shaq Quarterman.
Durability. Miami Hurricanes going to improve to 6-4.
That's a good shot right there. Those two guys came in together as true freshmen, started every game for 4 years side by side, and the final chance they get a chance to be on their home field, they go out in a winning way.
Yep. They ride for Overtown, Liberty City, Coconut Grove, Hialeah, Kendall, Parkland, Fort Lauderdale, Coral Springs, Plantation, and Pompano Beach, and Hialeah. College football scoreboard coming up next on ESPN2 to get you ready for App State in South Carolina. For Olivia and Dusty and our entire gang, I'm Mark Jones. Right now, we send you back to the studio for college football scoreboard.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. And a look at Ryan Helinski trying to get South Carolina back to 500 on the year. Tall order against the 7-1 Appalachian State team. You can see that game in just under 11 minutes here on ESPN2. Kelly Bryant. The Missouri Tigers dominant at home, but 0-3 on the road. They got a tall order between the hedges against Georgia in just under 6 minutes over on ESPN. And Kelly's old team, Trevor Lawrence, and the Clemson Tigers with an opportunity to clinch the ACC Atlantic with a victory tonight. Standing in their way, NC State. A road challenge for Clemson coming up in about 45 minutes over on ABC. Game of the day going on in Tuscaloosa, LSU and Alabama. How about the game Clyde Edwards-Helaire has put together?
Man, God, you talk about video game. I don't know what button you hit.
That's that B button, Coach.
That's your millennial
B button.
But no, he hit it.
39-27 LSU in front in a game that's been as good as advertised. Penn State, Minnesota, as good as advertised. Tanner Morgan, Rashad Bateman.
Minnesota.
Yep.
Huge respect for Minnesota after what they did today. Had it all along, but boy, was it amplified today.
When they needed it most.
Acho Morgan and Tyler Johnson. This one covered 38 yards.
Minnesota came out the gate swinging. They came ready to play. Their mindset was sharp. The team was sharp, executed on all cylinders.
Journey Brown, 6-yard touchdown run, made it 31-26. The Nittany Lions were driving. A minute to go. Sean Clifford picked by Jordan Howden.
A little bit of a panic throw there, Arch, over through the dig route, but the dig route was covered. Great play by the Minnesota Free State. What a great look